Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we continue our discussion on how we can develop our total capability in terms of being a spiritual, emotional and mental human being, and how we can integrate this into our positive Islamic psychology model. And we have explained to you that how the feeling, emotion, thinking loop, or we call it the FET. F-E-T loop. This feeling, emotion, thinking loop affects our behavior, and how from the input that we get from the physiology or the physical self, it is also linked to the spiritual, emotional, and we are getting unconscious input from the realm of the spiritual, from the realm of the heart, and from the realm of the subconscious mind. So all this integrated model, when we are facing challenges, how are we going to focus in achieving our peace, our happiness, our success, and how we are going to overcome the problem of our stress mechanism being switched on all the time because of the way of life of the modern world, which is filled with anxiety, filled with all kind of unnecessary challenges based on the negative perception of life. So I have given you some points of how we're going to do, for example, overcoming it through deep breathing, rhythmic breathing, heart breathing, spiritual, emotional and mental awareness, zikr, and many other ways in which we can reflect, especially muraqabah, to figure out how we can actually develop a positive mindset and how we are going to achieve great success in determining our way towards this framework of achieving peace, happiness and success, and overcoming our current challenges of negative inner speech and negative behavior. So how this is linked together to our model. This is our positive Islamic psychology model that you find in the book. Alright, this is the positive Islamic psychology model. And in, inshallah, my new book, On Being Achievers in Life, we are going to give you more details about this framework. And in this framework, I just summarized to you that basically in our positive Islamic psychology model, we are influenced by three environmental sources. First, our physical environment. That means the input to our existence is based on our physical environment in terms of our food, clothing, shelter, genetics, and so on. It's also the second one is, the first one is physical. The second one is social environment. That means the social environment in which we are existent insofar as the personal, interpersonal, and the society surrounding us. And the third is inner speech. This inner speech comes from our total past learning history. Okay? That affects our perception. So these three environmental input, the social input and the inner speech input, shape our perception, and these perceptions shape our total past learning history. That means how our self, our human self, our nafs is being colored or being modeled towards success or failure is dependent on our total past learning history, TPLH. And as we exist in this world, we have the physical realm. So this is the circle in which we are saying about our physical realm of our existence in this world, and the spiritual realm of our roh, alright, our roh, qalb and akal, spirit, heart and mind. And this is the physiology of the physical self. And I've mentioned yesterday that this aspect of our life is 80%, and this aspect is only 20%. So we talk about the SEM here, and we talk about the P, the physiology of the physical existence. So if we are going to understand this, how we shape our perception, it is very important for us to understand that based on this model, some of you may ask, where is our feeling, emotion, thinking aspect in our perception? Because If our perception is colored by negative perception, we have a negative total past learning history. So what we do, we have a negative behavior. The outcome would be, this outcome okay, can be in many forms. All right, the outcome can be negative. So we have a negative past learning history, our totality of our life. If the sum total of it is negative, then we have failure in life. Okay, or we can have positive perception. We develop a positive human self, our nerves, our whole totality of our spiritual, emotional and mental self. We have a positive total past learning history. We have a positive outcome. And we have success in life and the hereafter. So when we understand this model, we understand that everything boils down back to how we are being shaped by our FET cycle. So the FET cycle sits in here. Our perception, within our perception, is being shaped by our feeling, emotion, thinking, loop. Okay, so this FET loop is all the time going round and round and round, and this FET loop is then coloring our perception. Again, going backward, how it is being colored, how is it being shaped? Because perception is a shaping process. So this shaping of our feelings, emotion and thinking goes backward to the physical input, to the social input and the inner speech input. And again, as we have mentioned, the most powerful of the tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has endowed with for us human beings is our ability to make a decision. So our ability to make a decision, to decide to go north or south, to become good or bad, to decide to achieve something or not becoming achiever, is basically based on the inner speech. So the inner speech is the most powerful tool that is given to us, because we are given symbolic language, we are given free will in a limited sense, we are given the ability to make a decision. So when we have all these things together, we can see that this is a powerful model in which if we can shape our physical environment, or if we can't, doesn't matter, even the physical environment, if it is not that important, because it is only affecting only 20%, and our social environment, but this 60 to 80% is the inner speech, in which we can control using our transformation or the shaping of our perception using FET, the FET loop. Remember, feeling, emotion, thinking loop. So everything that we do at this level then will affect our total past learning history, and all that will come, the outcome, whether we are becoming a good person in life or a bad person in life, whether we are successful in life or failure in life, it all depends on this whole process. So if you understand this model, it is a very, very, very powerful tool. And this is the model that is developed by the late Professor Muhammad Mahdi Jenkins. In developing this model, he has explained this whole entirety of how we can develop a new psychology. That's why we call it positive Islamic psychology model, integrating it with the four realms of existence, the spiritual, emotional, mental and the physical, and how we can then develop this powerful tool and then shape our perception, shape our feeling, emotions and thinking, shape our total learning, past learning history to become an achiever in life, to become wonderful human beings, to become good, to help others to be good, to make this world good as a true and sincere servant, as a Khalifa on this earth, and then the outcome of having peace, happiness and success in this world and the hereafter. So if we are able to understand this in totality, then every day of our life, we can then manage our life towards a positive perception, positive feelings, positive emotion, positive thinking, positive way of life, outcome of peace, happiness, success, achiever in life. So inshallah, I will elaborate in detail some aspects of what we have discussed now. But remember, this is the totality of a picture with an integrated model, inshallah, based on the sciences of Islam. We are talking here about the sciences of the legacy of our great scholars who have left behind, and we, based on their manuscript, we dig some of the good and wonderful ideas that they have generated over the last 600-700 years ago, and we can then understand that this is the most perfect model of human existence in the world. Inshallah, if you disagree, my assertion is, hopefully you come with a better book, because this is the whole idea of scholarship. We come, we propound an idea, integrate as much as we can of the great knowledge of the great scholars based on the revelation of the Quran and the Sunnah and the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. So they have become wonderful people who can understand the totality of our existence at all realms of existence, propound their idea, and then brought this ummah to become at the pinnacle of our civilization for the last for 800 years before we degrade, as we have mentioned earlier on, of how we are going to be this transforming generation to bring us from the depths of our woes and difficulties now to a new generation that can develop a transforming generation that can understand the beauty of Islam, the beauty of human existence in this world, the purpose and meaning of our existence in this world, and how we can strive to make ourselves good, to help others to good, and to make this world good, inshallah.